I'm Brittney Saunders, and welcome to Big Business, the place where business is far from boring. And today I'm recording on a Wobbical land. Now, I somehow managed to build an empire from the garage underneath my house, and I'm here to share it all with you, from the wins, the mistakes, the challenging times, and the funny moments in between. So whether you're in business already, perhaps you're not in the game at all, maybe you're just looking for some inspo, or you simply just want to hear the tea, this is the podcast for you. Coming up on today's episode, we are talking about Hailey Bieber selling her skincare brand Rhode for $1 billion. A billy. I know it's a milli, that old song, but anyway, I'm making it a billy. Billion with a B. I'm going to run through my thoughts on it. It's obviously exploded over the internet in recent weeks, especially after Justin Bieber's weird Instagram post that he did like the week before. I don't know if anyone caught that, but Justin Bieber put up a photo. I think she got the cover of Vogue, and he put up this, you'll be able to find it, he put up this post on Instagram admitting that he used to tell her that she would never be on the cover of Vogue, and that he's now saying, well, she proved me wrong. But then he very quickly changed the caption. Obviously, the internet saw the caption as soon as the post went up, and even though he changed it, everyone screenshotted it. So like a week or so before he did that post, and then boom, a week later she announces that she has sold Rhode for $1 billion to E.L.F. Like E.L.F. Cosmetics, you know, back from our YouTubey makeup guru days. We all used to love doing an E.L.F. makeup haul and an E.L.F. tutorial back when everything was like $1 or $2. But we're going to run through it. I'm going to share my thoughts. I'm also going to share all of your thoughts because I put up an Instagram story as soon as I saw it like popping up everywhere. And I asked, what is your immediate response to this? So I'm going to just get straight down to business, and I'll kick it off with what everyone in my DMs was thinking of Hailey selling her company for $1 billion. I thought I would also do just a little bit about Rhode for anyone that doesn't know what it is, but I'm sure by this point everyone knows. So Rhode is Hailey Bieber's skincare line. Hailey Bieber was formerly Hailey Baldwin, and then she married Justin Bieber, who we all know. And so she has her skincare line called Rhode. You've probably definitely seen it. It has, Rhode is known for its minimalist packaging, glowy skin aesthetic, and the viral peptide lip treatment that every second influencer has raved about. Now, Rhode is actually not available in Australia, and I can only assume that because it's been acquired by E.L.F, it will be eventually, hopefully, because everyone here is dying to try it. Rhode launched in 2022, so it is such a new business. And unlike a lot of celeb brands that just kind of flop or ride on vibes alone, Rhode actually popped off. In 2 years, it reportedly pulled in over $200 million in net sales. So it's not just cute branding, but real numbers. She's done an amazing job on it. Now, let's talk about the big sale, aka the $1 billion bag. So the headline is that Hailey Bieber just sold Rhode to E.L.F. Beauty. Now, I've got some stats here. The deal was worth up to $1 billion. And apparently it was $600 million in cash, which is crazy, $200 million in shares. So Hailey owns part of E.L.F. now, apparently, and another $200 million if Rhode keeps performing well over the next few years. Basically, she didn't just get the bag, she got the Birkin tote, the suitcase, and the safe that it came in. Now, let's get on to your story replies. I saw this like the morning that it was announced, and I shared two kind of articles to my Instagram stories. The first one reads, Hailey Bieber sells Rhode to E.L.F. in $1 billion deal. And then I put up a second slide, and in the slide I said, I'm curious, what is your very first thought / response to hearing this? And now this I thought would be interesting to hear what everyone's thoughts were, because this goes back into the conversation that I feel like I'm just bringing up again and again lately, and it's women and money and how jarring that can be for some people. I just think, you know, if this was a guy, everyone would be like, cool, Like there would be no other thought to it, or like, he's a rich dickhead. Like there might be something like that. But I think because it's a woman, immediately I saw in the comments on social media so much discourse. So I thought I'd put it to my Instagram audience. And let's just read out some of your responses. First response, good on her. Get your bag, sis, but also so surprised at how quick she sold the brand off, not even 3 years. Someone said, I didn't know she had anything to do with that brand. Just extremely impressed and love this woman. Get it, girl. So look, I think what this is confirming is that my audience are girls. Like that's what it's confirming. Let me see if there's any others. Shocked makes me think she didn't care about the business, only money. Someone else said, that's business, baby, strike. And 100%, this is what business is. Someone said she had to pull Justin out of his debt. Oh, spicy tea. Someone said quality of Rhode is going to go down. Someone said doesn't seem real / something's fishy with the price. Again, is this thought because it's a woman? Because who's to say that it isn't worth that? Like, why would you question if she's sold to a massive giant like E.L.F for $1 billion? Why would someone ever say there's something fishy about that price? Like, you know, and again, I think it just goes back to this conversation that I keep having about women and money and how people, you know, want to like devalue a woman to be like, oh, that price is fishy. Who are you to say that when it's in the stats, in the deal?
It's so interesting because like you said before, if there was a male business owner that had sold their company for $1 billion, the praise would be overwhelming. Like, this guy's done such a great job. Like, this is amazing. But it is interesting how the discourse shifts when it is a female saying like, oh, she hasn't worked hard for it or she doesn't deserve that. It just becomes so apparent when something like this happens.
I know. I find every episode lately, Xander, we always end up back on this topic. Like we're becoming really passionate about standing up for women in leadership and in business and with money. I will say snaps to all of you because there's a lot of support for Hailey in the DMs. But on social media, I have seen so much discourse. I think a lot of people got confused when they heard that she sold it to E.L.F, that she's just going to like walk away now and have nothing to do with it. But that is not what is happening at all. So even though she sold it to them, she is still in the business and she even has a new title and everything. So she's now Chief Creative Officer and Head of Innovation at Rhode, even under E.L.F. So she's still in the company. And to be honest, I would fucking love that. Like, that is the dream for her because she can let go of like everything that comes with the business, like all the, you know, stress. And not that I think she would be involved with like the staff or anything. She'd have a huge team. But even just thinking from my position, goodness, if I could like have someone come in and like buy fate off me, but I still stay like really in the business and I'm the chief creative officer, I'm doing all the creative things and head of innovation. So still developing products, samples, and just being involved with that without all of the other stuff that comes with owning a business. That isn't the absolute dream for any business owner. So in translations, she still gets to call the creative shots, design the products, and post cute content, but someone else just runs the warehouse and everything else that comes along with owning a business, which that is the absolute dream. So is Hailey a billionaire now? No, but she's very rich. She owns 51% of Rhode, which means she's personally walking away with over $500 million from this deal. But after tax and adult things like advisors and accountants, she's likely pocketing somewhere around $170 to $180 million in cold, hard Hailey cash from this deal. People think Hailey has sold a company for $1 billion. They automatically assume she's putting $1 billion in her pocket. It doesn't work work like that. There's all the other things like tax and fucking paying everyone that made the deal happen. So she's personally not getting $1 billion in her pocket. Anytime anyone sells a business or it's acquired by another company, you don't get the full amount. The same way if Fate does $50 million in sales, I don't get $50 million in my pocket. We wish that's how the world would work, but it absolutely doesn't. So what can we actually learn from this? And like, what's the whole point of her selling and selling up so soon? Now, I've touched on this in a lot of previous episodes, but I guess not in detail or not to a T. This is more so for the people that are like, why would she do that? It's such a cash grab. Like someone else said in my DMs, this is the beauty of business. And people saying, oh, she wasn't passionate enough about it. She doesn't care. When it comes down to it at the end of the day, that's like actually not what business is. Business is money. Business is money. It's making money moves. And for people to call her a cash grabber, it's like, yeah, she's a cash grabber. That's the whole point of doing business. Like, yes, we have founders who are extremely passionate about their brands. And there's people that, own businesses purely just for a passion project, which is so fine. And clearly, Hailey is extremely passionate about Rhode because she could have sold off the whole thing and walked away from it with the money, but she's still so in the business. So I think people that are saying, that's just a cash grab, she doesn't care about the brand, you're so wrong because she's still working within the company. She's still employed by the company or like a shareholder or whatever you want to call it. But we can't shame anyone for selling a business or having it be acquired by a bigger company because that is business at the end of the day. And I've spoken about this before. When you're in business, and let's say like you start out as a really small business, I'll use myself for a reference. When Fate started, it was extremely tiny. It was me and one casual employee. And when I started Fate, I didn't have any dreams for it to become the business that it is today. That's just what has kind of naturally happened over the last 7 to 8 years of Fate is we've gone from that tiny little business in the garage into a big business that it is today. And it's an extremely successful business at that. Now, I have like 2 choices that I can make in my position, right? I can continue to grow Fate and I can continue to do what I'm doing. I can continue to be super involved and hopefully grow more and more and more. And then one day it's guaranteed that Fate will slow down and eventually crash. Because again, like that's just the beauty of business. And I've said this before, but it's very rare that a business will last for your whole lifetime. If I can make Fate last for my whole lifetime and it can be successful and on an upwards climb for my whole lifetime, I think people would write books about that in the future. But businesses have a lifespan. Not many businesses have been around for 100 years. Like you will hear family run owned since 1927. And like that's amazing for those businesses. But if we're speaking realistically, every single business has a lifespan. Fate has a lifespan. Do we ever know what the projected lifespan of those businesses are? No, but that's the gamble that we take. Being in business is we're signing up to this shit, we're growing it, and we know that one day it's probably going to end. And so owners like myself are faced with the choice of building it up and getting it to a really high point where the profits are high and then you can sell it. And then it becomes someone else's business to do whatever they want with it. In this instance with Hailey, she has sold it to an even bigger entity. And so they are then going to use all of their resources, all of their money. Let me just actually Google what is the size and revenue of E.L.F. Beauty. Let's see. E.L.F. Beauty Inc. is a publicly traded company with a 2025 revenue of $1.3 billion. So it is a $1 billion company. So Hailey has been smart. She's built this business up to an amazing size in a really short amount of time. And then she's obviously invested in the business and wants to stay involved, but she's sold it on to someone even bigger. And now what you will witness is Rhode becoming an even bigger and better brand. And that is extremely clever. And one thing that I'm faced with, not currently, but just like it's always in your mind when you own a big business is, am I down the track going to do something the same where, I don't know, I can strike up a deal with a company where they can come in and acquire Fate and then make it bigger, and then I could like choose to stay involved or just completely walk away. Or my other option is I try to run Fate for as long as I can in my life and be there for its closure. And there's nothing wrong with doing it either of those ways. I have a lot of people that I know in business that say you need an exit strategy, like you need to get out of there before it all crumbles. But I don't see any harm in staying in a business until it ends. It just depends like what you want to do with your life. So I think Hailey selling Rhode to E.L.F is an amazing thing. I think we should be celebrating how successful this brand has been in just 3 years. That is absolutely phenomenal. I'm sure people will write books about this in the future. And it just goes to show that a celebrity brand can be extremely successful if done correctly. Because, you know, there's so many celebrity brands out there that kind of just coast along and, you know, then they kind of just fizzle off into the abyss. But she's done an absolutely amazing job. So I say good on her. I don't think she's a cash grabber. Like she is though, but we're all fucking cash grabbers at the end of the day. I really hate that. Like people saying what a cash grab. No shit. Like anyone would do the same thing if they were in her position. She's still staying so heavily involved in this company that she clearly loves, but she's given away 49% and can just focus on the creative. That is the absolute dream for any business owner. And I think if anyone else was in her position, they would do the absolute same. And I think now that this company has been partially taken over by E.L.F, we're going to see it go more global because right now it's like just based in America. I think we'll see it popping up in like your Sephora or your Mecca. I don't know where it will be, but I think because it's been acquired by a bigger company, they're going to have more money, more resources, more distribution operations and centers. It's just going to grow the brand even further. But I'm super keen to see where it goes. There are a lot of people online saying it's going to flop, the quality's going to become poor. It's not, because she's still involved in it and I know her standard. We see her standard. She's not going to let it flop. Whilst it all feels so personal and, you know, this is when we go into the territory of like people being the face of their brand and it feels personal and there might be fans that have felt like she's betrayed them because she's given up the company or part of it or whatever. But at the end of the day, business is just a numbers game. That's what it is. Yes, there's a lot of passion, a lot of love, a lot of heart that goes into businesses, and there are founders that are extremely passionate about it. But at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, everything that we're all doing in business is just a numbers game. And you have to think of the future. You have to think of your future. And clearly she has thought of her future and set herself up for success by having E.L.F own a big chunk of Rhode. Another little personal story actually about myself and Fate, which I feel like I've told in a previous episode, but probably ages ago. I had I don't know if I can call it an offer, but I had a lot of conversations with a company that wanted to come in and acquire 51% of Fate. So like Hailey's deal, but they would have been owning 51 and I would have been the one with 49%, whereas Hailey owns the 51. But it would have been 2 years ago now that, oh my God, and I'm just having a moment. When I spoke to them, they took a guess at the size of Fate because I hadn't like told them exactly. They just made assumptions of like the size of the company and I wasn't quite there, but now I'm bigger than what they had said back then. So that's just really funny. Anyway, little thing that just popped into my head. But yeah, 2 years ago, I was having conversations about a potential, not partnership, but a company taking 51% of Fate. And I very well could then and there could have been like, yep, let's do it. And I wonder, had I done that, where Fate would be now and how different it would be. And they explained it to me, like how it would work exactly. Because I had no idea. But like, if you were to come in and own 51% of Fate, like what would happen? And because, it was a bigger company, and they've got like funds and money, they then like bring in a board of directors and professionals. And this is exactly what would be happening with Rhode. They get like really experienced people on their board to come in and essentially flip the company on its head, look at all your costs, fix all your processes, put people in place that the business would need to scale, and then they inject money into the company to grow it a lot bigger than what it is. And I would have been like Hailey, where I was still involved, but I wouldn't have had the larger cut of the business. And that's what scared me the most, because I had 49. I don't know legally how it works, but I think they could, I don't want to say this exactly, but I think that they could vote me out of the business because they had that 51% ownership. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure AJ explained it to me that way. And them owning more than me was what initially put me off. Like, it was the 51% that made me go, this just seems like I would lose, like, obviously majority power and majority share. And also the timing just didn't feel right for me at the time. But I was really grateful to connect with these people, and who knows, like I might spark up the conversation again in the future, but the timing wasn't right. I felt like the company wasn't at its biggest peak at that time. And it's so interesting because that was like maybe 2 years ago now, and we've come leaps and bounds since then. So I just said to them, like, respectfully, I'm just really proud of doing this all on my own so far. And they really respected that back. They were like, we totally appreciate and respect that you've built this business yourself and that you're doing it all on your own. And I just said, not now. Like, the timing feels wrong. And so that's a fun little story that happened a couple of years ago now. So look, I could talk about this forever and ever, but to put it in a nutshell, I'm extremely happy for Hailey. She has shown to us as a young woman the power of a strong personal brand, which you always hear people talking about, a product that actually fucking slays, and a killer business strategy. This obviously isn't just a cute lip gloss that she makes. She's obviously built something with real value. She's proved that it could stand on its own, and she's cashed out while still keeping creative control. That is an absolute flex. I take my hat off to her. And I know the internet has been saying this is all like a stab at Justin Bieber and they're sensing that there's tension in their relationship. You know what? If that is the case, and if she is having a go at Justin and trying to prove that she can do it all on her own, I say good on her. But who am I to get involved in their relationship? As always, I'm going to end today's episode with a tip of the week. Be a cash grabber, but also, you are all going to think I'm so stupid for this. I only just discovered something that I definitely should have known for a really long time. And I'm just going to tell you all it. It is not a hack because I'm sure everyone knows this, but I only learned the other day you can schedule an email. I didn't know, and I reckon there's other people that don't. Quite literally, like, we just use Gmail for Fate. So when you go to send an email, you can, next to the blue send button, there's a little drop down tab, and then you can go schedule send. Schedule them. And you can be strategic with it too. Like, if you know someone starts work at 9 a.m, you can schedule an email to land in their inbox first thing in the morning kind of thing, rather than sending it like in the arvo and then it gets pushed down. Or if someone starts at 9 and you really want to get their attention, send it at 9:05 so that it, like, if anyone else has sent a scheduled email for 9 a.m, you then sit on top. Anyway, that has just absolutely changed my life. That is my tip of the week. Schedule your emails. You don't need to send them out at night. You can just type them and then schedule it for the morning. It's changed my absolute life, and I feel like an idiot that I've only just discovered that, but better late than never, I say. Anyway, that's all for today's episode, and remember to chase after your dreams as if they owe you money.